Okay.
Hey friends, I'm here with my friend Kirsten. And earlier this week, I said something on Facebook about having questions. And so Kirsten and I met, such a cool God thing, about, gosh, it's close to 2 years now.
Yeah.
And we all introduced ourselves and what we do with our time. And she said she was a trainer. And I'm like, ooh, I think I need to have this woman in my life. And so we became friends. And it's been an amazing journey since then. And she's been such a great encourager to me in my fitness journey, because I had some really weird perceptions about the fitness world. And just, I was all about cardio. Kirsten, you know that. So,
Yeah.
I'm on the treadmill, I'm on the elliptical. Then those are great machines. Those are great machines. But I'm so glad you encouraged me to try something different. And she encouraged me to come to her boot camps, and I was like, wow, okay, this is no joke. So thank you for encouraging me to come to those classes and get some weights and to get a mat and to try something different. And so, but as we do our workouts, I love your workouts, and I love that we're doing them on Zoom and you do them live here in the Charlotte area. But I find myself, as we're doing certain things and you're giving us instructions and coaching and encouragement, I'm like, I don't know what that means. Just keeping it real. Or am I doing it right? And so I don't want to get hurt. And I don't want to be hurting myself as opposed to doing something that's supposed to be helping me. So I appreciate your popping on and letting us share this with our friends, as to, I can't be the only one with these questions, is kind of where I was at. So
I love that you have questions.
oh,
I love that you have questions because it means that you're interested, and it means that
okay.
you're taking it seriously, and it means that you know how important it is. So instead of it just going, it's great. I love it. So I'm so happy to be here.
Well, thank you. Well, first thing I wanted to ask you about. So, as you helped me last fall when we ran that 5K, um, those are the shoes I'm still wearing. Those were running shoes that I purposely went out and bought for that training and that event. And I just, the Rona and life, and I just haven't got new shoes. So I know I need new shoes. So for the kind of training that we do, we're doing kickboxing, we're doing weight training, we're doing strength training, I should say. What kind of shoes should I look for? Because I'm not really running as much and nearly as much anymore. But what shoes would you recommend? What am I looking for?
Yeah, and I had talked about this a little bit before one of our boot camps this week. No, it was actually before one of the lives. Shoes are extremely important because you can hurt yourself. You can hurt your feet. You can hurt your
Okay.
body. Shoes are essential. So
Okay.
your running shoes, Lisa, you probably need to replace them too. So you want to replace shoes if you're wearing them a lot, every 3 to 6 months.
Oh,
Okay. And that
okay.
might seem
Wow.
like a lot, but they get worn out. So you
Okay.
want to replace them. You want strong support for your feet.
All
And
right.
so I have different shoes for different workouts. I bought HIT shoes. They're actually called
Oh,
high
wow.
impact interval training shoes because I do a lot of jumping and
Okay.
I want a lot more support for my heels and
Okay.
padding for when I jump. So I
That
have
makes
HIT
sense.
shoes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And so I wear my HIT shoes when I'm kickboxing because, we are doing cardio there. I
Right.
also have shoes I wear for strength training. And that's more of, there's a cross training shoe you can get for strength training. So for instance, Lisa, so when you're wearing your running shoes and I'm asking you to squat and sit back, your
Mhm.
running shoes are pushing you forward.
I
So you're
noticed
actually, yeah, so you're actually fighting your shoes to
that.
get in a
Okay.
good squat position.
Okay.
So
So
that's,
that's helpful, because that's why I'm fighting it. I could feel that. And I wasn't sure what
yes.
I thought I was doing something wrong. Okay.
No, it's your shoes. So you're battling your shoes. So that's why shoes are so important. And I'm like, I bought my HIT shoes, think like July. I'm gonna have to replace them here in another month or so because I wear them a lot.
You wear
So I
them
have
all the
strength
time.
training
Okay.
HIT, I've got running, I've got walking shoes. So different shoes for different things. You need to pamper your feet. You need to baby your feet. If you have a
Hmm.
foot injury, you're out, right? I mean,
Oh
there's
yeah.
no way to get around that.
Right.
So you want to be careful and have the right shoes. Extremely important. When someone tells me, oh, they have a problem, like something's hurting, the first thing I say is, what kind of shoes you're wearing. Do you need new shoes? When
And
did
how
you
old
get
are
them
they?
last?
Yeah.
And how old are
Okay.
they? So yeah, I would say
So
you probably need more
need
shoes.
new ones, and I need different kind. Okay. So when you say hit shoes, if I walk into like the shoe store,
Yeah.
um, if I run it, I'll go to a good store because I like to buy good shoes.
Yes.
Um, so if I go to a running store, they sell other kinds of shoes as well. But what kind of shoes am I going to ask the person for? Do they call them hit shoes? Do they call them strength training shoes?
Yes,
Or okay,
what I would suggest is I would go in there, like if you go to, I normally just go to Dick's or whatever, and
okay,
I went in there and just said I need hit shoes, and he's like, oh, the best ones are Reebok and Nike, come with me. Like he knew
okay,
exactly. But if you're going
okay,
to like Good Feet or something like that, that's more of like, if you've got problem feet and you're going to
mhm,
a specialized store, I would say to them, okay, this is the type of exercise I'm doing. What would be the best shoe for that? I'm
okay,
doing high impact interval training work. What's the best shoe for that?
okay.
So
But like you
they may
said,
not
Dick's
be so
or
familiar with like the
right.
terms,
Okay,
but they should know what would be best for you. Or you just say, I need strength training shoes. What
okay,
do you recommend?
okay. Let
Yeah.
them embrace their expertise, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So shoes, thank you, because I need to get some new ones. So there's a couple of things that I was curious about, more equipment is when you talk about weights. So you use heavier weights than I do, and that's fine. You've been doing this a lot longer than me. So I have 5 pound weights and I have 8 pound weights. And sometimes you'll comment, that you need to, I want you to think about, going up in weight, or sometimes you'll say, bring your lighter weights for this workout. Kind of explain what we're looking for with a weight, and why do they help, and at what point do we need to go up? Do we consider, like, should I buy some tens, and should I start working on having tens in my collection as well? What do you think?
Mhm.
What are your thoughts?
So when you stop feeling challenged after a strength training workout or after a workout, if you're not being challenged by the weight that you're using, you need to go up. And I can usually tell when someone needs to go up, and I'll go up to them and I'll be like, "How you doing?" And they're like, "I can go up and weight." You always want to
Okay.
be challenged, and that's why sometimes I say, if you are not feeling this, if you feel like you can't do one more, you're at the right weight. If you think you can do like 10 more, you need to go up.
Okay, there's a
And
good
so,
indicator. All right.
yeah. And so you will increase your strength by going up in weight. Now you're going to hit a point, you're going to hit a plateau where you're not going to be doing this with 50 pounds, right? You're going
Right.
to stop at some point,
Sure.
but you want to keep going because you want to keep increasing your gains. Otherwise, you're going to stay the same because
Okay.
your
Okay.
body changes with that extra weight. And I think I mentioned this week too, a lot of the girls that have seen like real change in their bodies, they've gone up in weight. So I've had some
Okay.
girls I've been working with for a year that started out at 3 pounds. They're now at 10. And
Okay.
so they're the ones who are like, oh yeah, they're like, I can feel it. They've gotten stronger as time has gone
Mhm.
on. But if they had not gone up in weight, they'd still be using that same weight and they wouldn't be seeing the same results they're seeing now. So weight is
Okay.
extremely important. And also, if you're going too light, you're not going to actually feel it the way that you need to feel it. For instance, when you're doing chest, you want
Mhm.
to be heavy enough to actually get into your chest, to get past
Right.
your arms into your chest.
Okay. And if you're not feeling it, then it's too light. Okay.
So how are you doing, like personally with your eights?
I actually haven't been using the eights as much recently because I've got some pain in my elbows that I need to see an orthopedist about. So when you have us doing, depends on what the exercise is. So I kind of like scope out what you're doing first, and then I pick the weight.
Yeah.
Um, if it's like if you're doing the ones that where we come up like this,
Mhm.
that can
Yeah.
hurt my elbows. So I'll go with the fives. But
So
maybe I should.
here's a
Maybe I should
quick thing.
have your
Here's a
ones. Yeah.
quick thing. And I'd love to work with you run one on one to figure out what's going on with that.
Okay.
So when you just did it just then,
Hmm.
I wouldn't go up as high.
Oh, okay. Just keep it lower.
Yeah. Stop right here.
Okay.
So instead of coming all the way
Come
up
all the way up.
here,
Just keep it lower. Okay.
keep it lower, keep it lower. And
Okay.
yeah, and you might want to be careful about snapping your elbows. Like when
Okay.
you're doing certain things like strength training, when you're snapping, it goes into your joints as opposed to your muscles.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you
I'll
ever
be aware of
feel
that.
pain or whatever, just ask me. I mean, I'm no doctor, I'm a trainer, so I
Yeah.
speak from my own experience, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm happy to like help with anything like that.
Okay. Thank you. That's good. Because again, I keep thinking I should probably think about getting some TENS. So,
I
okay.
think so. I think you
Yeah.
might be ready.
Okay.
Now you want to watch that elbow, but there's a lot of stuff you can do to not hurt that anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. There are a couple of terms I wanted to ask you about, or things that you say in our workouts that I'm like, not sure what she means by that. And I just want to make sure I'm doing it right and I'm not, again, putting myself at risk for an injury. So, um, when you say you, okay, you talk a lot about our core and that you talk about how our core is, well, it's called the core for a reason. It's the center of our body and we don't work it out in just normal everyday life. It's not typically getting used as much as it should
It
be,
should
right?
be.
It
It
should
should
be,
be.
exactly. So when you say, like, if we're doing an exercise and you're like, make sure your core is tight, what do you mean by that? Should I be more aware of tightening all these center muscles while we're doing these exercises, as opposed to just doing the exercise? Do you know what I mean? Like is it a two-part
Yeah.
thing I should be focusing on?
So all core work starts in the mind.
Okay.
So it's really easy to do a bicep curl because the movement alone makes your biceps work. But with
Okay.
your core, it's completely different. Core
Okay.
is like a sheath of muscles like this, as opposed to,
Okay.
like the bicep being a bicep muscle. And
Right.
so they work differently. And in order
Okay.
to core train, you have to connect your mind to your body. You have to think about it. And so one
Okay.
way to do that is through your breath. And one way to do that is if you don't think about it, it's not going to happen. And so I
Okay.
actually train several clients on core training because we're trying to make that connection because it'll make you stronger in everything that you do. So when I first
Oh,
start working with someone on core training, I'll be like, put your fingertips like right around your rib cage area.
okay.
Now give me a little laugh. Give me a little laugh.
Oh,
And you feel those muscles go
okay.
tighten.
So they're
So
becoming
that's what
aware
I
of it.
mean, like tighten
Okay.
up those muscles, tighten so you contract those muscles. If you're having a hard time contracting, see that they just naturally contract when you laugh, when you cough, when you sneeze, they contract. When you
Mhm.
exercise, you can do that by thinking about it and
But you
by
have to
turning them
do
on.
it. Okay.
Yes. And
Okay.
so they make you stronger in every single movement. So when we're kickboxing, a lot of the kickboxing is all your strength is in your core, your kicks, your punches, everything. But it starts here and you have to turn them on. And when you
Okay.
said you don't normally work them at home, I would love that you work them at home. And that's what I ask some of my clients to do when you're standing at the sink, contract. Think about it, contract so it
Oh.
becomes a natural thing. When you're getting up out of your chair,
Mhm.
don't use your arms, use your core. Get up out of the chair. As you're
Oh,
getting off the
okay.
couch, use your core. Everyday things that you're doing, use your core. And it'll get
Okay.
stronger and you'll see difference.
But you have to be thinking about it and intentionally doing it.
Yes.
Okay, that's
Yes.
helpful. And then
Yes.
again, while we're doing our workouts as well, when you say that, now I have a better understanding of,
That's why I remind you guys all the time, because if you're
yeah,
not thinking about it, you could easily just kind of let it go. And some of the things that we do, I don't want you to let it go because I don't want you to get injured. I want
right,
that core to be on because our core is our strength.
right. And it protects our back and our organs and all that. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And last one, when you talk about breathing, you say that often as well. And my son walked through the other day and he heard you say that. And he's like, of course you're breathing.
I know.
He's 11. But I know you want us to breathe in a way that's best for what we're trying to do. So say we're doing leg lifts or something and we're doing some ab work on a mat. I feel like I'm always breathing at the wrong, I'm inhaling when you're saying exhaling, and I feel like I just can't get it together. So
Yeah.
can you help me understand what the best way is to approach that? Because I feel like I'm like a baby and I need to be breathed right.
Well, that's a great question, Lisa, because
Okay.
breathing is hugely important. It's an essential, and it can be really confusing because the natural way we want to breathe is not the way we necessarily want to breathe when we're exercising. So I
Okay.
always remember the E rule. We exhale on the effort. So whenever you're going
Oh.
against gravity, that's when you're exhaling. So in a leg drop, if your
Hmm.
legs are here up in the air and you're lowering them, you're inhaling. But as you're pulling them away from gravity, you're exhaling on that effort. You exhale
Okay.
on the effort. And so normally, that might be an unnatural thing for someone to do. But again, we're going towards your core again. So when you're
Mhm.
exhaling, so here, do me a favor, go like this,
Okay.
and now exhale. You feel the tightening in those
Hmm.
core muscles on the exhale.
Yep.
So in kickboxing, when you're punching, I'll be exhaling because I'm squeezing that core, which is giving me strength in my punches and strength in my kicks. In strength
Okay.
training, we exhale as we pull up.
Okay.
Because again, it's core work and it's giving us strength. So breath is extremely important. And another thing, like sometimes when we're concentrating really hard, and it's mostly when we're doing core work, when we're holding a pose or even an isometric, when we're holding a pose, guess what?
We
We
hold the
hold our
breath.
breath.
Okay. And that's not
Holding
good for
our
us either.
breath is not good because it causes our blood pressure to go up, which we don't want. We
Okay.
don't want that at all. We want to keep breathing. So sometimes I have to remind everyone, keep breathing. Don't hold your breath, especially in abs. Don't hold your breath. Keep breathing. And
Sure.
always
Okay.
remember, exhale on the effort.
Okay. And that I've heard that before, but I never heard it described with gravity. That helps me
Mm. Oh, good.
because I'm like, well, it all feels like effort. So
Right.
just keeping it
Right.
real.
So think
But
about it. Yeah, when
that
you're going against
against
gravity.
gravity,
Yeah.
that's when I need to exhale. That's really helpful to me because I just, again, I'm like, wait, I'm doing this wrong. So I just felt like, again, a little confused. And then when I would get it right, I didn't understand why, but it did feel better.
Yeah. It
And it
helps you.
was right, right.
And it
Okay,
engages that core really
okay,
well.
okay. And then again, we're not holding our breath because that's never good,
Right.
especially when you're exerting yourself during a
Right.
workout. Okay. Well,
Right.
this has been so helpful to me, and I figure it might be helpful
Yay.
to someone else because,
Yeah.
again, we're not certified trainers, and you are. So that's why I thought, well, let me ask the pro and make sure I'm doing it right so that it is good for me and not a detriment. I don't want to get hurt. And I have
Absolutely.
and I have found such a great I have found such benefit from strength training. I really did think it was going to be, getting all bulked up and bodybuilder, and I'm not interested in that. But I just feel stronger, and that's what I wanted. So
And
I,
that's what it's
yeah,
all about, being
yes,
stronger for life.
yes,
You don't,
yeah,
we strength train because for a lot of reasons. It boosts metabolism, it makes our bones stronger. It's crazy that strength training actually increases the density in our bones. And it's
really,
really important
huh?
as we age as women.
Yes,
We might be at risk for osteoporosis or
yeah,
osteopenia, and strength training really fights that. Strength training, there's just so many benefits. We as women, as we age, should get 2 full body strength training days a week. 2
really,
body strength trainings a week.
okay,
Because as we age, we lose
yeah,
muscle density. And so
okay.
we need to keep that muscle. It keeps us young, it keeps our bodies young, it keeps us healthy and strong and able to lift things and make us stronger for life. Like my mom, I've mentioned this before, it makes her day that she's able to lift a stack of plates into a cupboard. She's 83 years old, and,
Right.
and she feels empowered by that. And
That's
we're
awesome.
empowered when we're able to do things, Lisa. You're exactly right, for life.
But she works at that.
She does.
She
She works
does.
at
That didn't
it.
happen
Listen,
by accident.
nothing
It
happens by
it wouldn't
accident.
it wouldn't happen by accident. Yeah.
Anything good takes time, and
Okay.
it's worth the commitment. It doesn't just happen. If you don't work it, guess what? You lose it.
You
You're
lose
going
it.
to lose
Okay.
that muscle. It has to be a commitment, but it's so worth it.
There was something you said a few weeks back on one of our boot camps that you mentioned something about injury. and that there was something about like the stronger your muscles are, the more they do protect our skeleton. They protect
Yes.
our bones. So if we do take a fall, or something happens, we're less likely to end up shattering a hip, hopefully. Or does that
I
make
mean,
sense? Am I
I'm the
understanding that
best
right?
I'm the best example of that, just because
Okay.
I've like almost fallen like on runs and stuff. Thank goodness no one was around. But like, I jacked up my ankle so bad running, like falling off a curb and literally like hearing all these
Oh,
cracks and stuff
oh, oh,
and
oh.
coming up and being fine, like keep running because I've built up strength in my tendons, my ligaments, my muscles,
Okay.
and all of that strength protects your bones.
Oh,
And
wow.
so
That's
your
amazing.
muscles, think
Okay.
about if you've got full plump muscles that are super strong, they are going to protect your bones from breaking.
Okay.
And
Wow.
also, like I mentioned before, strength training builds bone density. So you're building the strength of your bones by
Right.
strength training. And so that's protection in itself.
Wow. Wow. So I am so grateful that I've learned more about this, and just what we've learned today has been helpful too. And
Good.
I just appreciate your encouraging me on my journey, but also, all the women who come to your boot camps. We have such a great time. We laugh and we we have a good. We use our core, no problem with the laughter. But I just appreciate it. I just want to also let people who are watching know that Kirsten has an amazing YouTube channel that she started a few months back. And what I love is that all the trainings that we do, she records them and she puts them out on her YouTube channel. So if you guys want to check that out, you can search for Kirsten Quick Fit, and her logo is orange, and she's got all sorts of amazing workouts on there. You've got different
Oh,
lengths of time, like you can grab a 10-minute
mhm.
one, you can grab hour ones, and all different kinds of exercises too. I love the variety. You've got some chair exercises that people can do
Yeah.
sitting down. You've got
Exercise.
kickboxing. You've got all sorts of amazing things out there. So check that out. When I can't catch her live, I head over to your channel. So I love that
Oh,
you have that resource. So thank you.
thanks, Lisa. I
But
appreciate that.
thank you for your
Thank you.
help today and your time. Now I feel a little less like clueless about. Again, I think I can just do my exercises better, and I think I need to hit the shoe store this weekend. So, well, exactly. Well,
Darn
thank you.
it.
Thank you for your help today. I appreciate it, and I
Thanks,
will
Lisa.
catch you later. All right,
This
take
is
care.
fun. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.